Please stand for the pledge to flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. I have a couple of opening statements. Current status of 108 Newberry Commons, roof work has been completed. Blue coping will be installed around the entire perimeter soon. Remaining scrap metal will be removed from the back and front of the building. I think this is what we're seeing this week. Permanent electric feed at the back of the building has been disconnected, removed, and prepped for three-phase power meter boxes. And again, I want to extend my congratulations and thanks to TRA and our DC partnership, which led to this great DRA project success for Ticonderoga. Quick and decisive action was the only reason why this structure stands today. Community building generator. We are moving forward with an emergency repair of the generator. We expect completion sometime in May. And just a reminder of hazardous waste days. Those dates and locations are listed on the town's website on the homepage. All right. With that, we will get into, let's see, we don't have any presentations or public hearings this evening. So what we'll do is get on to committee reports, and we'll start with their part.
We had a meeting on the 1st of April. Fuel sales for the month of March is 1,089 gallons. And probably by the end of April, we will order 6,500 gallons. We'll have room for that. So the airport's being used, it's going along. On the airport expansion, good news from Ralph Cabo of the FAA that there will be an environmental person working directly with Presinos, so we could generate and finish the FAA design grant for not only the wall but the runway lighting, which puts them into one grant, which would be great. Grant for this year with construction to begin next year, which means that speed things up a little bit. Catch back up on that one. The Army Corps of Engineers is okay to permit application for the expansion for the existing pavement option to fill in 2,500 basically square feet of freshwater wetland fill. That is needed for the vault relocation. The APA must clear the wetland project also. They'll be on site May 7th to review that area. As for the new hangar, Tim Woods has yet to sign the lease agreement. But once we get that done, hopefully we'll sign the lease, he'll be able to start. He just has to work with National Grid to make sure he can put it in there and their line is out of his way. And we talked to Chris Dostey, he needs a couple more things on the north end of the runway. Trees need to be cleared and all that. Alan Densmore Ash, I like to end up working on that with him. We have a fly-in schedule for June 14th. The rain date is the 15th at 10:02. There's Chambers design posters. You're starting to see them around town. So, and as before, not only fly-in, but if you want to drive your classic car and we want you there, basically, I'd like to see people come see who is at the airport and understand that we don't pay a lot for that airport. That is, FAA does a lot of investment there. So it was a plus last year. So this year we got the Batmobile coming, and there'll be tours of Star Trek if we want to call ahead to arrange for those. So that's what we have there.
Thank you. Buildings and grounds, Parks and Recs.
Dave, do you have anything to say?
No,
No?
get everything fixed.
Okay. You got it done. Okay, then I'll continue with Parks and Rec. Terry Smith was at our meeting. He's the president of the Heritage Board of Directors, and he was there to talk about some structural issues that they're having with the 1888 building. And their board feels that there's about $400,000 worth of work to be done. This includes brickwork, window replacements, drainage improvement, and a heating system so that there can be year-round use of the building. Terry did acknowledge that an engineer's report is needed, and he's looking for funds to start the project. Not the project, the process. Conversation with Nicole Green of NRDC regarding the grant process followed. Thank you, Nicole. Quotes from architect Joe Bellardo were suggested. Drainage is thought to be the first priority, and the building issues will be revisited at a later date. The community building, Tanya pointed out that these front steps need repointing, so that's on Dave's plate. Also, I I don't know if you've noticed that one of the entrance pillars from the Hague entrance has been knocked down and it has not been rebuilt. And Dave will check to see what's happening with that.
You started next week.
Good, that's very good news. And James Chauncey, who is our rec supervisor, has learned that a rope ladder to provide emergency escape from the armory's third floor is acceptable with the town's insurance carrier, and this escape method will be pursued. Armory use. James Chauncey also noted an increased use of the armory, and all spaces are in high demand, especially right now. Both the Little League and girls softball, as well as travel teams, have been practicing hitting and pitching. With limited space, there is a concern. There is limited space in the building, so there is a concern about that the pitching mound has been stored there in the off season, and some of the baseball gear is left behind year-round. But that's not your problem. But hopefully, that will be taken care of. The tennis and pickleball courts. Nicole Green reported that a grant of $18,500 has been received. Thank you again. And the court surface is a major issue, and bids will be thought by NRDC for this work, and possibly a new entrance locking system, and maybe something more. Town Christmas decorations. It has been an issue getting the town Christmas decorations up and down in a timely manner. As you probably noticed, they were still up in March. This includes the decorations on utility poles and those across Montcalm Street. Traditionally, the poles have been done by our highway department, and the garland across Montcalm Street has been done by volunteers. It was felt that all these decorations should be the responsibility of the town. It was also felt that less garland would make the job easier and should be limited to the garland strands that were previously purchased by the town. Ice rink, once again, NRDC, thank you. NRDC will be unable to continue providing routine work on the rink, including the starting and shutting down of the chillers. The company who sold and installed the chillers will train someone to do this work. It was felt that this should be done by town full-time employees. Our full-time groundskeepers, Jason Winchell and Bill Norton, will be asked to do this work. And then the next thing is Gaga Pits, and you probably don't even know what I'm talking about, but it's very popular with kids. And Nancy Kelly on our committee has researched Gaga ball pits, and the committee would like to purchase one that is portable and ADA compliant. We have already gotten 3 bids, by the way. It is felt that Bicentennial Park would not be a good location for this type of recreation, and that 3 sites should be considered: the ice rink area, the area just south of Legacy Park, and Recreation Park. And committee members will look at these areas immediately following the meeting, and we did that. So it looks like the Gaga Pit will be somewhere in Rec Park, and that's it. Our next meeting is next Tuesday at 8:30.
Thank you. We have one resolution related to buildings and grounds, Parks and Recs. Resolution to approve a revocable license agreement between the town of Ticonderoga and Madden's Pub LLC, which permits access across town property by Madden's Pub, subject to the terms and conditions of the license. If someone wants to move that.
I'll move it.
Second.
Discussion on that. We discussed this before. We're talking about easement versus licenses. Madden's is kind of landlocked in terms of getting their trash out. The library needed something to legally allow access across town properties. So.
Right now, the garbage truck, for example, cuts right across the whole area, and because it does look like a parking lot or a driveway, and something needs to be done so that the library can start using this area.
Okay, any other comments on that? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Economic development. The minutes are attached. We met on the 19th. The next meeting is April 16th. You'll find all the information in the agenda. We will move on to highway and transfer station.
Okay, we met on the 25th. There's, like I said, the minutes are attached also, and there's a few points. We're putting new bleachers in on Field 3, the Little League field. Sal discussed the airport. We brought up that there was ice, and he said he couldn't put anything on the airport. It had to be just plowed. And the bid was let to add around that concrete for $150,000 for new sidewalks throughout the town. And that's it.
Anyone, Smith, thanks for
He said maybe week after next.
We've got 3 resolutions for this area. The resolution to accept the resignation of Colby Holder as MEO in the Ticonderoga Highway Department, effective 4/17/25.
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. The resolution to advertise for a highway motor equipment operator with CDL license at $23.44 an hour with benefits.
So moved.
Second. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Resolution to offer employment to Jason Greenwood as part-time on-call groundskeeper with no benefits at the rate of $17.21 an hour.
I'll move that.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I'm opposed. Please carry that. Motion carries. Okay, that's all I have for highway municipal facility.
We met on the 24th of March. We handed out copies of the bid package that's this first draft. For all intendants, this bid list was submitted to John Chesnick for his review, and he reviewed it all in engineering stamp. And Matt Fuller and his group are looking at it right now, so when we get that satisfied, we will go out to the police station.
Matt has provided some comments to the board, so please look those over. We'll discuss those at another time. Public safety. Did you have anything else?
No, good, thank you.
Public safety.
Okay, again, we met on the 25th. The police department called last month for 356 calls. Incident reports 29, arrests 21, uniform traffic tickets 58, DWIs 2, actions investigated 15, and he wants to advertise for a court officer. And the SPCA said that they will no longer be taking dogs, so we're trying to find an adequate place to take them when we find them. So far, no luck. That's it. Oh, and wait a minute, highway, or the buildings department had five permits this month.
Okay, thank you. Public Works, Public Works met on the 25th of March, next meeting is the 29th of April. Minutes are attached, I have a number of resolutions here. First is a resolution to increase the account for 1479 New York State Route 9N to 1 EDU water.
So moved. Second.
Discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. The resolution to close the account for 29 Myers Street is now owned by Essex County Land Bank, and they are exempt from utility bills.
So moved. I'll second.
Okay.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Resolution to create an account for 836 New York State Route 9N, charging 1 EDU water.
I'll move it.
Second. Thank you. Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Resolution to send Axel Diedrich to the basic operations training at SUNY Morrisville from August 10th to August 22nd. Cost of the training is $1,100. The cost of the hotel is $850. Total cost of $1,950 plus travel and meal reimbursement.
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Axel's gonna have a busy up here. Resolution to send Axel Diedrich to the activated sludge wastewater treatment process training at SUNY Morrisville from September 1 to September 5th. Cost of the training is $600. Cost of the hotel is $340. Total of $940 plus travel and meal reimbursement.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And resolution to send Axel Diedrich to the basic laboratory procedures training, SUNY Morrisville, October 19th to the 24th. Cost of the training is $650 plus $35 for lab coat and goggles. Cost of hotel is $425. Total cost of $1,100 plus travel and meal reimbursement.
I'll move it.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. A resolution to appoint Hanson Van Fleet Hydrogeologic Consultants PLLC to provide hydrogeologic consulting services to the town of Ticonderoga for the Chilson Eagle Lake Water Project.
I'll move it.
Second.
Discussion, this was the one proposal that we felt, or the one of two proposals that we felt did the best job, the best place for this. This will lead into looking for acceptable test well locations and drilling to find out what we can get out of water volume for a test well. So we're moving along. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. That's all I have for Public Works. Moving into Human Services and Youth.
Excuse me. He met Tuesday night. He said the total number of children attending the after-school program in February was 200, the count they had every time it comes through the door, and 271 in March, so the numbers are going up. And he's been offering a varied program. I know that next week they're going to have, in conjunction with the Silver Bay program, they're going to have an Easter egg hunt. And he's also looking forward to the summer and getting plans in place for the summer camp. And the good news is, so far we've had 8 applicants for it. We hope to have 10. We've had an applicant for the health, whatever her title is, I'm not sure.
Health Director.
Health Director, thank you. We needed an assistant, but James thinks there's some possible people who have worked for him before that might be interested in that position. It's been a busy place up there at the Armory, and he's also been taking care of all the scheduling that goes on so that everybody's happy and gets a fair share of the building for practice. And the good news about summer camp is not only that it looks like it's going to happen, and that also they will be attending the Festival Gale programs this year and hoping to make 2 or 3 trips to the beach every week. And that's it.
Bunch of resolutions here. First, a resolution authorizing the supervisor to execute an agreement between the town of Ticonderoga and Essex County Youth Bureau for the 2025 Ticonderoga Youth Employment and Recreation Program.
I'll move it.
Second.
Any other discussions? Is it an annual thing? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution to offer seasonal employment to Patty Cook as health director with a rate of $23 an hour, no benefits.
I'll move it very happily.
Dave second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. A resolution to offer seasonal employment to Alexis Town as assistant day camp director with a rate of $17.16 per hour, no benefits.
I'll move that one.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. A resolution to offer seasonal employment as summer camp counselors with a rate of $15.50 per hour, no benefits to Madeline Lafayette, Susan Francis, Xavier Frazier, Morgan Burris, Tessa Fritz, Mary McCulloch, and Emma Manning.
I'll move it.
Okay,
Second.
discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution to offer seasonal employment to Catherine Moran as head lifeguard for the 2025 summer season, $18.95 an hour, no benefits.
I'll move it.
And I'll second it.
We can trade off like that.
We're fighting over it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution to offer seasonal employment to Alex Swiger and Hannah Porter as lifeguards for the 2025 summer season, $17.22 an hour, no benefits.
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Discussion?
The good news is that these are all experienced lifeguards.
Yes, yeah.
They've been on board with us last year too.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. A resolution to offer seasonal employment to Melinda Swinton as head cook, $24.35 an hour, no benefits, and Katrina Johnson as food service helper, $19.11 an hour, no benefits for the 2025 summer food program.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution authorizing the purchase of one 20-foot Gaga ball pit with swinging 88 board. From practice, it's difficult reading this, Judge. From Practice Sports, total price will be $1,898.
So moved.
And I'll second it.
Discussion, anyone want to say that? I think that is a no. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. A resolution authorizing the creation of a purchase order in the amount of $1,898 to Practice Sports for the purchase of one 20-foot Ogden ball pit with screen ADA door.
I'll move that one.
I'll second it.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, and carried. Human Services, seniors.
The seniors are scheduled to meet at the end of the month, this month, so I'll have an official report next month. I will also be attending the next Buildings and Grounds meeting as well to discuss some parking bumpers, trying to figure something out for those parking spots on the hill
Okay.
to try to prevent somebody from going headlong over the hill into the fence.
They addressed that last year, they were gonna put some curbing in, Sal was gonna go up and put a blacktop curb.
Okay.
So I can ask him, he's in South Carolina when he comes back.
Yeah,
Just call him, or I can call him for you.
yeah, I'll.
You're right, they're gonna end up right at church.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
A work order, put in a work order.
yeah.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah, do you know when Sal's gonna be back?
This, and Friday or
He's
Monday.
got a deputy.
Yeah,
He's got a deputy.
Yeah, but you know.
Well, I don't, so what to pay him for.
Trust me, I'll go to Sal when he gets back.
Yeah, and just so I can have some
They can't
details.
get blacktop yet anyway.
Right, yeah, that way I can go back with, with some details.
Got it?
That's it.
All right. I don't have anything on health insurance. I don't have anything contract negotiations. Got one thing from Charter. Yeah, sorry. Dear municipal official, letter serves with notice that on or around April 15th, 2025, Spectrum Northeast will launch carriage of Spectrum Northeast National Network, by definition, Channel 799, serving the community. Cool. You're all just about that. All right, so financial resolutions. This first large group here. Resolution authorizing the following budget transfers. First group is the front under budgeted general account. Increased cost from contingency. The balance contingency after this transfer is $67,202.66. And you can see here where that's being transferred to. Next group is to transfer ARPA funds from received to correct the expenditure lines. And there's two lines there, and the amounts are shown there. Next group is to transfer escrow received to the appropriate expense line in that amount of $462.50. This is for the Reagan Development escrow. The next one is to transfer escrow revenue received to the appropriate expense line for Wolf Cannon in the amount shown there. To transfer funds from capital reserve to purchase 2 new police vehicles at the dollar amount there. And to fund under budgeted highway account. An increased cost from contingency, the balance for the highway contingency after transfer is $11,755 for the items shown there. To transfer funds to correct budget miscalculation from SS12 to SS11. And to transfer funds from the capital reserve to purchase a new truck for sewer, the amount shown there. Finally, in this group is to transfer funds from capital reserve to purchase a new truck. They share this, sewer and water share this, in the amount shown there from their capital reserve. And for all that, I need a motion.
I'll move it.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. So a resolution authorizing the following budget adjustments to fund unbudgeted or under-budgeted accounts by the respective fund balances, amounts shown there. And need a motion for that.
Someone.
I'll second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. A resolution authorizing the following interfund transfer to transfer funds from the general to the Eagle Lake Water Project, in the amount shown there.
I'll move it.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. A A resolution authorizing the following interfund loans. First, to transfer funds from general to aviation environmental assessment project until funding is received, in the amount shown there. And then to transfer funds from central water to water meter project until funding is received for the amount shown there.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, I have a resolution authorizing publishing the announcement of completion of the tentative assessment roll.
I'll move it.
Second.
Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution to approve Article 7 settlement between Walmart Real Estate Trust number 2424 and the Board of Assessment Review and or the assessor of the town of Ticonderoga.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution authorizing the purchase of on-site mechanical labor, 8 hours plus 4 hours overtime for repair of the generator of the community building. Parts are covered under warranty. From Star Tech Services with funds to come from general contingency. Total price would be $2,800. I'll move it.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And likewise, the resolution authorizing the creation of a purchase order in the amount of $2,800 from Star Tech Services for the purchase of on-site mechanical for repair of the generator for the community building.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. A resolution to accept the resignation of Thomas Hurley as dog control officer effective April 2, 2025.
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Any discussion on that?
I'm sorry, it's going.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And then resolution to advertise for the position of dog control officer.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution to accept the minutes of March 13, 2025 regular town board meeting for March 27, 2025 finance meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution to pay the abstract.
I'll move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution to accept the supervisor's report as submitted.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. I have a couple of things to talk about tonight. First, the library structure, what's behind the library. We put that out for bid once, didn't get an invite. It got posted on social media, and just about everybody in town asked about getting the building. So, what do we want to do?
I would like it put out for bid.
Okay, best offer kind of thing, or?
Do you have any environmental issues with this property?
I do not know.
Is there environmental issues with the structure?
I have not been in it, so I don't know. Have you heard anything, Tanya?
I went in today, Tanya called me this morning, and I went up, and there's, somebody told her there was black mold in there all over the place,
Then we
but
can't
it's,
put it out.
but it's not true.
Oh,
They did
So
have
I went through this, just-
asbestos too.
There was one bathroom that they closed up when the water's on, the moisture is in there, and there's black mold there, but it's just in the sheetrock, it's not into the wood. But that's
So there is
really,
black mold.
but just in that one room, as big as a stable.
I think at a minimum that should be removed,
Right.
dealt with.
Yeah.
And they did have the asbestos report, and there's none.
Okay.
It's really important that if something happens, because the library really can't plan to use that property for that building sitting there. And for the town to take over that, to own that building, I think it's going to be, it's nightmare. In fact, it's probably about 50 years old, and they're planning outdoor use of that property instead.
Yeah, I don't have any problem getting rid of it, but we just can't
Just
get rid of
can't.
something that's got an environmental issue. So however that gets addressed.
What do they do, just sign a release if somebody gets in? You
Oh,
think
we
that's-
will have a release. We do, it needs to be
We have-
remediated before we get rid of it.
Yeah, we cannot get rid of that until it's been remediated.
And what does remediation mean? Just removing anything that you don't know? Okay.
That would be
I think
an expert.
Yeah, somebody can come in and they can spray it, I guess, and maybe cut
Well-
that piece of sheet rock out and get rid of it.
Yeah.
We had a couple issues before, and I took a sample of the mold, and took it back to Tanya, when the fire department was doing their renovation over there, I took it down, and the guy sent it away. He said it was nothing, it was just the surface, And that's what this looks like.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just in the paper, in the paper on the sheet rock.
yeah, it's just due diligence.
Keeping us honest.
Yeah.
But the sooner we can get it done, probably the better,
The
because
better because
that'll spread like
they
wildfire.
can't move forward until they know what's going to happen with the building.
I think you can find someone to look at it, or
Yeah.
put something, put an ad out, have something going on.
Can we get our town carpenter to do it?
If he's,
Well, I don't think
It's not a big dollar.
I don't think he's certified to do that.
yeah, you just have to be careful.
So do you tear it down or do you spend money to have somebody come and look at it and,
There's a cost benefit analysis there.
yeah.
Yeah, because it's gonna cost you something to have it taken down.
Yeah.
If the cost of somebody come take a quick look at it and give you a certification, it's fine. And have
With all the
something-
hassle, going through all of that, to have somebody move it, I'd tear that down tomorrow.
Well, if it's got mitigation issues, you can't just, you don't want
Well,
the
they-
girls coming to see you again, do you?
Again?
They got me before, when I showed them.
Yeah, that's what he said again.
All right, we'll have to look at getting someone to look at it and see what it would cost to remediate it versus what it might cost to have somebody just come in. Joyce had asked about dump days.
Yes. We didn't have them last year because there was a problem with the, at the transfer station with the
Yeah, compactor.
compactor thing too. And I assume that's been taken care of.
No, it has not. It has a fix on it, but it could go in May. We haven't had it in probably 3 years, the dump days. So what was discussed, I think, in the last, when I brought it up, because there's a lot of people that utilize this, is that maybe we have to look for a different route to go, of possibly everybody getting a card and they just go on their own one day at their own free time. Instead of coming 500 truckloads on one day, that's gonna burn that unit out. That's what the discussion needs to be, and I think that's the best way of seeing where we are with that compactor. I was gonna go to the next highway meeting and bring it up.
Okay.
Actually,
All right, we'll look at that one.
Leave it till then and see what happens, but, yeah. It is a very nice service that we have been offering in the past.
At some point, we need to discuss street closure
Yes,
for the Hero Festival.
yes, that's me.
I don't know, I assume from the intersection of Willie George Avenue and
To
Rocktown to
Sharon
Champlain.
Lane, yes.
I don't know the times.
8 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Jen, do you know the times?
And a lot of the activities will be taking place in that vacant lot across from Ledge Hill Brewery.
Yes.
But-
Where the theater was.
And hopefully the artists will be around and talking to people about their concept of the murals that they're putting on the walls. I think you're going to like them.
All right, well, let's get this out of the way now, let's try not to track it in the future. Let's have a resolution to close Montcalm Street from the intersection of Montcalm and Lake George Avenue to the intersection of Montcalm and Champlain Avenue on June 7th,
June 7th,
2025,
Saturday, June
from
7th.
the hours of 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
I'm going to move that.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion on that? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Matt, we got 2 updated LOAs from AES on the Chisholm Lake thing. You had given them some instruction, they said they corrected that, but I don't think you really had time to verify that yet.
today.
So,
If you want to approve it subject to, we will. I'll have a resolution then to approve the letter of authorization, I'll get this for you, 2025-003, Chilson Lake Engineering Assistance pending review by town attorney. Somebody needs to move that.
Second.
Second, so any discussion on that? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Likewise, there's a resolution authorizing approving the letter of authorization number 2025-004 for the long-term control plan, DEC comments, DEC comment response, pending review and approval by the town attorney. Someone wants to move that.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. The Ticonderoga Ambulance District submitted their first quarterly financial statement. If you could all look through that and send in comments you have to me. I have a number of comments that I'm going to send back, and I can share those with you so you can see those. Nothing striking or anything like that. I just would like to see a bit more breakdown in some areas, to get a better idea of what each of those major categories are and it's made up. But if you get anything, send it to me. Like I said, I will send you what I'm going to send so you don't repeat it. Another thing I want to mention is he sent out the charge point. Was it the monthly invoice for March that we made off the charge point station? It was like it's a little over $400 when you subtract the fee. It was like $375.
Something like, yeah, I don't even look at it quickly off.
For the month of March, that's money that
We were paying
we
before.
were giving away before. Now hopefully to pay most of itself. Especially if the town starts looking into its funding and all those things in the town. Anything else on my list? Tanya, did you have anything? Town attorney, did you have anything?
We've got a couple of things to update in executive session, just on the litigation, but that's it.
Yeah, we will have an executive session. We'll go into public comment. There's a number of people here tonight. If you have not read the guidelines for public comment, which are on the website and posted outside this door, I encourage you to do so. Because we have a group of people here, and I'm going to read these to you. The presiding officer has discretion in enforcing these guidelines for the orderly and civil conduct of town board meetings. Guidelines will apply to public comment period and legislative public hearings before the town board unless noted otherwise. The public has a right to attend meetings of public bodies, listen to debate, and watch the decision-making process. Neither the open meetings law nor any other statute provides the public with a right to participate by public testimony or comment. However, because the town board encourages public participation, rules and procedures are hereby developed. And those as follows: a public hearing is an opportunity for the public to openly speak on a specific topic and only that topic. Outside of a public hearing, the public has a right to hear but not to be heard. Public participation in a meeting of a public body outside of a public hearing is a privilege, not a right. The public is not entitled to speak during a town board meeting because this meeting is a meeting of and for the town board, not a community forum. We do have a public comment period. It is provided at the discretion of the town board. The public comment period may be limited to 15 minutes. A time limit may be imposed for individual testimony at a public hearing. Each speaker is allowed 3 minutes. And the following apply. Speakers will approach the town board and state their name for the record. Speakers should address the town board as a whole and not each other. Attendees will be respectful of those speaking by avoiding side conversations and interrupting. Meeting attendees may not donate their speaking time to another person. Individuals may speak extemporaneously or read prepared comments. However, individuals reading comments on behalf of another are limited to 1 3-minute comment. More time is needed. The town board requests that written comments be submitted to the town clerk or will be entered into the record. Speakers shall refrain from comment or behavior that involves disorderly speech or action, name-calling or personal attacks, obscene or indecent remarks or derogatory comments on personalities, advertising or promoting the sale of products, services, or private enterprise, promoting any contest or lottery, and promoting candidates for public office or upcoming ballot measures. encourage you to keep those in mind as you make a statement. These are statements. This is not a public meeting or a discussion period. If you have a comment, please come up. You have 3 minutes to make your comment. I will warn you if you're getting close. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Dr. Evan Mack, and I stand before you as a concerned citizen. Many of you know I dedicate much of my time working with local youth, ensuring they have access to a musical education. When a community invests in its children, these programs, with these programs, the return is immeasurable. Since September, this town has been told that the scholarship fund for graduating seniors is in danger. And now we've learned that even last year's promised scholarships have been poorly administered. More recently, we learned the Early Learning Center is in jeopardy, an outcome tied directly to the failure of the current TRA that this board installed when you voted to dismiss 7 dedicated members. And we asked the supervisor why. What are we seeing? We see the supervisor arguing counterfactuals on Facebook, claiming that 108 would have never happened if these board members hadn't been fired. But why argue what can't be proven? Because admitting the truth, that you dismantled a functioning organization and replaced it with a board full of Florida vacationers, working on their tan rather than the town, a 14-page litigious letter writer whose only impact was getting the donations to cease and desist, and a polarizing executive director already booked solid elsewhere, leaving the role starved for time, attention, and leadership. It would mean you have to acknowledge responsibility for this crisis. And what do we hear from Mr. Wright? Nothing. So we turn to town council member with the TRA. We see Dave Woods standing idly by as the TRA pursues lawsuits and casts misdirected blame, despite voting to remove the very people who pour their time and treasure into this town. This lawsuit isn't about justice, it's about making incompetence with accusation. When competence runs dry, scapegoats become strategy, and it's easier to litigate the past than lead in the present. And what do we hear from Mr. Woods? Nothing. So we look to the member associated with the Youth Council. We see Joyce Cooper holding meetings as if her vote hadn't helped unravel the TRA's support for the daycare, with time, staff, and focus it once gave. And she had been warned again and again by long-standing supporters, standing before her in October, in November, and December, that this would carry real consequences. The idea she now leads youth programs while dismantling the foundation beneath this isn't just contradictory, it's disqualifying. And what do we hear from Ms. Cooper? Nothing. And the rest of the board, no eye contact, no explanation, no plan, nothing. From the current TRA, no emails, no outreach, no appeals, nothing. So I give the answer, and this council, that they need to hear. Why is the daycare in jeopardy? Why is the scholarship fund in trouble? Because of you. You did this. You can blame others. You can deflect. You can stay silent. But the truth is, it's always been you. And now that I've answered the question that this town has been asking since September, I have some in return. Why would you ever consider running again? And why wouldn't you all just resign?
Please, order, please. Anyone else?
Good evening. My name is Alex Goffman. I'm an 11th grader at the Ticonderoga High School. Last October, my friend and I spoke to you about our concerns about the TRA and the dismissal of its board members. We expressed our concern for the scholarship fund and other programs on our community council. Here we almost 6 months later, witnessing what we are worried about happening. Scholarships and workforce development programs that many Ticonderoga students depend on are at risk. But it isn't just about the students. Donors remain upset, which means their donations are not getting to those in need. It's not because they don't want to give, but it's because of a situation of mistrust that you, the current TRA board, have created and to date are not willing to fix. You, as a board, are standing between donations and the community members that need them. Last October, we stood here before you and asked you to do the right thing. Nothing's changed. You hide behind a lawsuit that has personally hurt my family, by the way. Not only are my mother and my brother an intern of 3 weeks named in a lawsuit, I have lost what I consider to be one of my most important mentors of my childhood, Patty Hogan. I'm just one small example of students impacted. You may think it's nothing, but for the youth of the community, it is something. The entire situation has so many fixed in so many different ways. There can only be one of two explanations. None of you care, or none of you realize the implications of your actions of the time. You now hide behind a lawsuit and take no action So we are left to assume, sadly, you guys do not care. Dr. Mack brought up many good points, but my ask is different than his. I would like to ask you to show that you hear us and work together to find a solution that works for everybody. Can we work together to bring the scholarship program back on track? You cannot expect donors to trust the current board that is due to the actions that you all endorsed. We cannot undo what has been done, but you can show them that you're picking a different path forward. Give the TRA back to the community by removing current board and establishing another, which clearly you have demonstrated you have the power to do. Take the great work being done to 108 Montcalm and give it to the NRDC. Let them own and take all the credit they want for the project. In my mind, the cost of that project far exceeds any dollar amount. If TRA's programs aren't saved, I'm not sure a positive update should be published. On behalf of the impacted students and families of this community, I stand before you tonight and respectfully ask the same thing as I did in October. Will you do the right thing? Thank you.
Thank you. Tanya, let the record show this is not the TRA board.
You are.
You're out of order.
Okay,
Yeah, go ahead.
okay. So I'm Ken Parlin. I have spoken, this is my third time speaking to this group in this forum. I've also been to the TRA board meeting more recently where Nicole was there, Dave Wood was there, Supervisor Wright was there. I'm going to start with good news for everybody. All these programs are going to be fine. And I really mean that. Scholarship, let me back up and say, my ask is to hold a lawsuit, like tomorrow. You have that influence, and start the healing. The operators, Scott, Sandy, Nicole, have everything they are going to get. The only thing I understand is a Facebook account that nobody can get into, thanks Zuckerberg, have to create a new one. All the other information, the G Drive backup, access to Live Oak, which I helped Scott Herberg. Kathleen and I helped Scott get into the Live Oak account, $156,000. The Schwab account, which has the scholarship money, last I knew had $220,000 in it. The money's there. It's an issue of administration. The team doesn't quite have their act together. Happy to help. I met Sandy Morehouse at the Burley Luncheonette. I want to help. Tell me what more information you need to pull the lawsuit. That's my request.
And let the record show that this board is not the TRA board. You're talking to the wrong board.
Two of you are.
Sir, if you cannot contain yourself, you can certainly leave. Anyone else? Last shot. Anyone else?
I would like to speak.
All right. You have 3 minutes.
My name is Nicole Justice Green. I am the Executive Director of North Country Rural Development as well as Tie Alliance and Essex County Land Bank. Good evening and thank you for the opportunity to speak. I want to begin by addressing a volume of misinformation that's been circulating in this community, not just about childcare, but about the TRA and more broadly about our organization. These narratives, often shared by individuals not directly involved, are eroding trust, diverting attention from facts and undermining the very real work that so many are doing to meet this community's needs. One of the most serious issues that we continue to deal with, and something that we've not said a lot publicly about, is the deliberate removal of institutional records from TRA, which hampered our operations for a number of months. And I have come before this board, and I'm very grateful for the cooperation that we've received in the past few weeks. It has put us on a really good footing and standing for operations going forward for some of the programs that TRA has continued to administer. However, there is still a lot of information that's missing. And I'm happy to continue to work with other folks in the community, including Mr. Parlin, who spoke, to get that information. But some of that important information, which we still have not received, includes lists of our scholarship recipients from last year, including their names, their award amounts, and how to get in touch with them. donor records, including what we were given towards the endowment, backups, what those gifts were specifically restricted to, the endowment or the startup costs for the daycare and their construction costs, as well as still some basic operational data that's needed for grant monitoring and our audit, which we continue to work with our accountants on. This continues to be the subject of an active legal proceeding, and nobody in this room wants this to end more than myself and the board, but it is still ongoing, and we are trying our best in good faith to get that information so that we can actually move on and heal. This was not a standard transition, which is something I have no control over, but my staff and our board has continued to do our due diligence to not only deliver on the existing programs, but 108 Montcalm Street. The suggestion that the youth are suffering and that scholarships have ended and that TRA has turned its back on this community are flat out and false. Let me address these claims directly. Silver Bay has continued to work with St. Mary's Church in Silver Bay. We don't have full operational control of the daycare, and nor would we ever have. The legal agreement has stated that TRA's continued responsibility is to partner with Silver Bay, maintain the building, and disperse their endowment when they have shortfalls. And we have done that to the tune of $245,000 in 5 months. So to argue that we are not actively supporting, maintaining, and repairing that structure, as well as supporting Silver Bay, meeting with the Adirondack Foundation, meeting with Hudson Headwaters, and continuing to try with the major funders of that endowment to increase that funding, again, is misinformation and hubris.
I'm sorry, Nicole, I'm going to have to cut you off. It's 3 minutes, but you can submit your written statement to the town clerk.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, Mark.
Mr. Moore.
Mr. Wright. I'm Sanford Morehouse. I'm the chairman of the board of TRA. Nicole has very accurately summarized the situation. We do not have what we need to operate the organization as yet. We're getting there. We do not have what we need to submit to the outside accountants to prepare our audit. We are getting there. We have an agreement with 2 of the defendants in the lawsuit of cooperation. That agreement is being acted upon. We are receiving cooperation. More needs to be done to get to the accounts and the information that we don't yet have. When we get what we need to operate TRA and to do our audit, we will release those defendants from the lawsuit. To the extent that more is needed, that the other defendants are privy to, we will negotiate with them to get their information, and when that has been obtained, we will release those defendants also from the litigation. The bottom line is that we received absolutely nothing of any information to operate the company for several months, 5 or 6 months, until we brought these lawsuits. And once we did bring lawsuits, the information flow began. So we're all sorry that they occurred. It's a small town, and lawsuits are not fun. But they have been the only way that TRA has been able to obtain the information that we need to operate. Thank you. Oh, I have one more thing, Alex Coughlin. I happen, by the way, for those who don't know, to be married to Patty Hogan, who he rightly calls his mentor, and she wants to continue their relationship, Alex.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Nicole Trelli, aka known as Nikki Trelli via the NRDC world. I have many friends and what I consider family here tonight. I please want everyone to know I personally respect everyone personally and can respect you professionally too. There needs to be a segregation. One field doesn't need to cross into the other. That being said, there has always been a repeated claim that TRA scholarship programs are disappearing and that the organization is somehow harming the youth. This simply is not true. As a local development corporation, our mission is focused on workforce and economic development. Over the years, TRA has supported the youth programs, and particularly for non-college bound students and those entering the trades. And the programs still exist. I do apologize, I don't have my glasses on me, so if I falter, please forgive me. Youth outreach and enrichment continue to be led by many strong partners, including the Chamber of Commerce, which organizes the excellent school-based programs and events and is supported by us indirectly. And as for scholarships, TRA's program is not going away. Applications will be within the next month, and awards will reflect the long-standing practice, typically between $10,000 and $30,000 annually based on the secured funding. These amounts compliant the hundreds of thousands of dollars awarded each year by the Alumni Society and other committed local organizations. To claim that scholarships are ending, something no one from TRA has ever said, and is simply not true. It's irresponsible, and we remain committed to supporting the students in a meaningful and sustainable and appropriately structured ways. Despite all this, TRA has not walked away. We continue to meet with Silver Bay and the endowment funders to support the sustainable path forward. We remain committed to Child Care Center, to our scholarship programs, into this community. That is why I'm here, not to assign blame, but to speak the truth, not to argue, but to advocate for structure, facts, and shared responsibility. TRA remains ready to be a collaborative and constructive member and partner, but we will not be held to ridicule, and we will not let misinformation define the future of this community. I am here. Let's be a community. We all want the same thing. We are all begging for the same thing. As a community, as a lifelong member of Essex County, minus a few years I had to go away for college and to develop myself, let's join together. I have looked and had dinner with many of you, and I just beg you, come to us personally, come to us responsibly, come to us respectfully. We are here to have these hard conversations. We are not backing down from them. But
Sorry,
please.
Nicole, your time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
You guys, I read Robert Porter from Ticonderoga. I think this is the third, fourth time I've stood in front of you since, this all went down last September. Mark, you sit here and, you comment that you're not, this isn't the TRA board. You are the member, you, who shared information with this board, boatloads of misinformation, that they did, and not one of you guys, not one of you, came to us to verify this information that he shared with you, that this project would not go forward and the DRI money was in jeopardy unless we were fired. You think about that, Dave, right? Think about that, and you think about the people that you know. You think about the people who were fired on that board. Peter Reel, you don't think he was capable of doing that, taking care of that project? I know you've met Kathleen Kaufman, right? We knew her as a board member and worked with her over 2 years. I'm sure you met with her with 30 minutes and probably realized she was more than capable of running that, running TRA and getting what we needed done. Joyce, think of the 7 of us. Why you guys didn't make a question mark on that or ask us. Tom, you drive by the windshield almost every day. You couldn't stop in and say, Bobby, Mark's saying this about this. What's going on? I would have shared that with you. Heath, I've known you a long time. Come on. And now there's a lawsuit that he's the member of. Dave, you're a board member of people in this community, kids who grew up in this community in their 20s that had nothing to do with this. They're named in this lawsuit. You have the ability to stop this lawsuit. You as a board, the 4 of you. You can tell Mark in executive session tonight, enough. Drop the lawsuit. You hear what Nicole just said. Torelli, you want this community to come together? Enough. Drop the lawsuit. You want things to go forward, as we all do. We want the scholarship saved. We've got donors that you know have headed for the hills. Things that are not, PRA is not sustainable under the present situation, and you know it. So enough. And don't tell me for a second you have not gotten all the information, Sandy. You darn well haven't gotten all the information. No, don't shake your head now. And don't tell me, Mark, then you member of the board. Then you should be asking him as chairman, as a member of that board, you have all the information and it's bull crap that you don't. And you know darn well you do. You have every bit of information you have, and that's a lie. So enough of it. You have everything you need. You've had it since, most of it since November. In the bank accounts. You can't access a bank account. Let's see, you go to Glens Falls National, you share that, Sandy, that you are the head of TRA, you share the document that the board wants you to have access to that account, boom, you get access to that general Glens Falls National account. You could do the same exact thing to all those other accounts, but you sit here and say, oh, I don't have access to all the accounts. You think we're all fools? That's ridiculous that you don't have access to those accounts. Being chairman of that organization and with board approval. Don't give us that nonsense. So enough. You want to listen to Nicole? She's the middle person? Enough. Drop the lawsuits and let's move forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Removed if you like. You're very brave standing there, but I can have your butt removed.
You should resign if you're spewing lies. How about that?
Tanya, from the last statement, please make sure the record shows that this town is not the swing party in that lawsuit. All right, anyone else? Anyone else who cares to be civil? All right, if there's nothing else, I'm going to close the public comment period. This board is going to go into executive session to discuss matters of litigation and contracts. Can I have a motion, please?
So move it.
Okay. Second. Executive session 1902. I'm going to ask everyone present to exit the building and not gather in the hallway. We have business.